At the end of June 2020, devices across northern Europe detected strange oscillations in the results obtained. The 3 Baltic and Scandinavian countries have raised the red alert level due to increased radiation in the air. What happened? Radiation was not discovered until the end of the 19th century, and its dangers were not immediately known. In 1896, Nikola Tesla deliberately subjected his fingers to X-rays and published findings that burns had developed. American geneticist. In 1927, Hermann Joseph Miller published research showing the genetic effects of radiation, and in 1946 he was awarded the Nobel Prize. Throughout history, numerous incidents of radiation have been recorded that are still present today in the 21st century. Agencies of several European states in mid-2020 discovered a mysterious increase in radiation levels over northern Europe, although no state has volunteered to take responsibility for the mysterious anomaly. European authorities have announced new inclusions of man-made radionuclide particles in the atmosphere. And the results revealed an increased level, far from the usual scale. The levels of radioactive substances cesium-134, 137, cobalt-60 and ruthenium-103 were measured. Announced the Swedish Radiation Safety Authority. Similar observations were made by the radiation protection authorities in Norway and Finland. A few days later Lassina Zerbo, the executive secretary of the Organization of the Agreement on a Comprehensive Ban on Nuclear Tests, has posted on Twitter a map showing a possible source of the region anomaly. Most of which were territories within Russia, but also parts of Finland, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. Something strange happened over northern Europe without anyone taking responsibility for the incident. These isotopes are most likely from a civilian source. We are able to indicate the probable region of the source, but it is outside the mandate of CTO to identify the exact origin. The media soon discovered that something strange had happened in northern Russia. Not far from the borders of the Baltic countries and Finland. The Dutch National Institute of Public Health and the Environment said that based on an analysis of available data, radionuclide combinations could be explained by an anomaly in the fuel elements of a nuclear power plant. Based on the available evidence, the organization suggested that the detected radioactive particles came from the direction of Western Russia. But they clarified that this does not mean that they are definitely connected to Russian power plants. Based on the available evidence, the organization suggested that the detected radioactive particles came from the direction of Western Russia. But they clarified that this does not mean that they are definitely connected to Russian power plants. Both stations operate in normal mode. There were no complaints about the operation of the equipment. The total emissions of all alleged isotopes in the period did not exceed the reference numbers. No incidents related to the release of radionuclides outside the protective structure have been reported. This incident is reminiscent of a similar situation that occurred in 2017, in which another radioactive cloud was discovered over Europe. During that event many suggested that Russian power plants were responsible. A hypothesis that was later supported by scientific findings, although Rosatin disputed those claims. The sudden jump in radioactivity reflects the events following the nuclear crash in Chernobyl, the greatest nuclear disaster in history. Within a few days of the 1986 disaster, Sweden's nuclear power plant has detected elevated levels of radioactivity, according to a European Parliament report. Is this the first time this has happened after Chernobyl? No. As we just mentioned, something similar happened in 2017. The French nuclear safety regulator first discovered the radioactive element ruthenium-106 in the air in late September 2017, tracing its origins to the Ural Mountains in the border region between Russia and Kazakhstan. Other European cities such as Stockholm, Milan, and Budapest also began to detect traces of radiation. RSN, which said that radiation could no longer be detected since 13 October. Concluded that it was an accidental radiation leak and estimated that the amount of meaning released at the source was somewhere between 100 and 300 terabecquerels. This is sufficient to require protection precautions and special cleaning procedures in the region close to the origin. But this case is unfortunately not alone. In 2011 the devices measured strange levels of radiation that spread throughout Europe, and the largest amounts were recorded in Central Europe. Austrian officials said in a statement that the scattered cloud study showed that the radiation most likely came from somewhere in Southeast Europe. Wherever spent nuclear fuel is handled, there is a chance that iodine-131 will escape into the environment. If we exclude the well-known Chernobyl incident and the Fukushima incident in Japan, it is significant to mention the incident in Great Britain in 1957, which remained covered up for several decades. On October 10, 1957, workers performing standard maintenance in a huge facility noticed a rise in temperature. After further inspection they found that the graphite core of the uranium-filled reactor caught fire and even worse, it probably burned for 2 days, releasing dangerous pollutants into the atmosphere. Although there was no evacuation, officials banned the sale of milk from the affected area for about a month. The complete report has been hidden for decades. However, devices in Western Europe detected elevated levels of radiation but did not suspect the unaided kingdom. In August 2019, a mysterious explosion in the White Sea region of northern Russia that killed 5 nuclear scientists was the focus of speculation around the world. Although Russia acknowledged that the test was a bad job, it was shy about the radioactive elements involved in the crash. The city of Severodvinsk, near the place where the accident happened, reports an increase in radiation levels immediately after the explosion. That report was censored, but soon after that Rosatom, the Russian nuclear agency, acknowledged that the accident involved an isotonic energy source. A contradictory report by officials and almost daily revelations of new information about the explosion in the media suggest that we have yet to hear the full story of what actually happened. Many incidents have remained covered and unknown to the public, which tells us that this list is far longer and in some cases far more dangerous. There is also the main problem, because we do not know how many incidents have gone unnoticed and hidden from the public eye. We cannot see radiation, but it can destroy the human body.